And welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we've got another music teacher reaction and analysis video for you. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the group Distrubed and their version of The Sound of Silence. Now, this is the live performance as done on Conan back on March 28th, 2016. All right, everybody, let's get into it.
Please welcome Disturbed!
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stared by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence.
Okay, we're going to pause there real quick. So we're going to talk obviously a little bit about just the performance of the song in general, but then we're also going to do a little comparing, contrasting between this and the studio version. The way this song is written is so beautiful. It's absolutely just incredibly beautiful. I love the simplicity of the piano part, just to really kind of open and leave him exposed as a vocalist here, so we can really feel all of the subtle nuances that are happening in the music here. I also love how they just tend to like just linger on certain notes or certain chords, just to really add some of that extra emphasis on you feeling a certain way in the music, on certain words, lyrically speaking. It's just beautiful writing, absolutely beautiful writing. I love that they layer in the acoustic guitar on top of this to kind of give it just a little bit of complexity, but to still keep it pretty open and honest and authentic. His vocals here, so one of the differences between this live versus studio, I love his unprocessed vocals, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm usually one that prefers the studio recording versions of things because they're more well-balanced, they're more well-polished. I tend to like that better. It's different here. His voice is just like pure butter. I don't know what else to describe it as. It is just so silky smooth and rich. And I feel like we lose a little bit of that in the official processed studio version of this. He sounds just so authentic and exposed in this, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. We're going to go ahead and rewind just a hair to lead into our next section and continue with this. Here we go.
Of silence, and in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs and voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fools say that you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words and I might teach you. Take my arms and I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence.
Okay, we're going to pause there. Oh my gosh. I love, again, sometimes, guys, you just can't replace live music. There's just something about live music that is just so much better than the processed in the you know, in all its polished form that is not live music. It's so hard to describe, guys. We're going to go back. I want to listen to that section again before we get into the main impact point here. Just simple things like the first time through this phrase here in the middle, he is using just this crystal clear, beautiful head voice, and we don't really get any kind of extra added power into it. It's just beautiful, crystal clear tone. And as he progresses through it, it just starts to add a little bit of that it's raspiness, but it's not really raspiness. It's just edginess. It's kind of just this extra added intensity, really. And what's amazing is that the group is matching that, and you can hear the intensity of the vibrato in particular in the violin section, in the string section. The vibrato just keeps getting a little bit more and more intense, faster pace in terms of the vibrato intensity, and it just adds to that later as we go through this section here. The other thing that I love about the writing, I never caught this in the studio version that we listened to, but I absolutely caught it here. If you listen to the writing of the violin parts, because it becomes very open and exposed when he steps out for a second at the end of this phrase, you can hear that the very end of this phrase, the string section goes up to the highest note they have played yet. They have not reached that high in terms of pitch, a note yet. And that just leads you into this kind of climactic moment. From a writing standpoint, it is so well done, both in execution and in writing through this section to really just nail it. All right, we're going to start, I think it is right around here.
And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs. And voices never shared. And no one dared disturb the sound of silence.
Notice we're also adding the timpani player at this point too.
Fools say that you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words and I might teach you. Take my arms and I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell. Echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed.
So there's that resolution we talked about with the string section. They've now reached the highest pitch that they've played thus far in the song. It just adds such this incredible layer of climactic moment in that phrase. I didn't mention it before, and I kind of mentioned it during the middle of the recording there, that the timpani player also is added in the second half of that section there to really add another nuanced layer of intensity to the song. Just so good. It's such a great example, guys, of how you could be the world's most amazing musician, but it's amazing how music has everybody just kind of joined and connected, and it brings you all together. And all these little subtle nuances throughout the ensemble really just add so much more to the performance than if we just had his vocals alone. His vocals are amazing, amazing. We've talked about that at length, especially in our other video that we did. But some of these little things that we didn't hear in the studio recording are just so much more pronounced here in the live version. And it's really absolutely amazing. All right, we're going to go ahead and, again, rewind just into this section so we can get this full, into it with its full complexity and nuance here, everybody.
And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign lashed out its warning. And the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, whispered in the sound of silence.
All right, before we finish this, guys, I want to talk a little bit about, so obviously the drastic character change in his voice at the ending here, and one, how amazing that is, but also, again, talking about live versus studio recordings. Part of the reason I love live music is for those subtleties that we've talked about in terms of execution, but also when you hear the flaws in the music. It's so weird. I'm going to go a little bit of a tangent here, but when we were in the middle of the COVID pandemic and we were not able to experience any live music at all, everything was either recorded or it was done over digital platforms. I found myself missing it so much. And the first performance I saw was a stream of Garth Brooks, oddly enough, performing live, unadulterated music. And you could hear some of these little flaws that they were making, that they were doing. Because, it's live performance. There's little flaws to it, guys. They exist. It may be hard to hear them if they're a really, really good musician, but they're there. And you can hear in his performance here, folks, there are some subtle flaws in his singing. You can hear the struggle in his voice at one point. And I love it. It makes it so much better to hear, the struggle of that performer and to hear him overcome that struggle. It's deep on so many layers in terms of the lyrics of the song, the message behind the song, and then to have his performance match that and tell that same story. It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. We're going to continue again. We're going to listen to that section again because I just want to hear that. I want to draw your attention to that. You'll hear, guys, at one point where you can really hear that struggle in his voice, but he powers through it. He overcomes it, and he still is able to get through it with all of that beautiful imperfections that exist in music. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Here we go.
And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign lashed out its warning. And the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophets are
It reminds me of a quote that I heard from Adina Menzel's audition tape for Wicked and applying for Elphaba. And she went to perform the Defying Gravity main impact point, and her voice cracked. It cracked, and she literally turned to the judges and said, "I'm sorry, that's all I got." And the judges were just taken aback by that, and they were like, "That's exactly what we want." And I feel like that is so perfect to this scenario. For those of you who don't know, he was extremely sick for this performance, and he still overcame that and still has this incredible performance where we hear his full rawness of his voice and his just being put on display here, folks. And to hear him overcome all of those struggles and those difficulties, flaws and not, it's just amazing. It's just a great testament to why live music is so important and so amazing. And it will never, ever, ever be replaced by produced, recorded music. They both have their place, don't get me wrong. But we're always going to want live music. We're always going to need live music. Just absolutely incredible performance here. Hopefully you guys liked what you saw today. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you did, I'd appreciate if you guys gave us a thumbs up. If you'd like to catch more content that we're putting out here on the channel, I'd appreciate if you guys subscribed and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. And last but not least, if you would like to join the live discussion that we have for all of these videos, you can join us over on Discord, or you can join us on Twitch, where we do our weekly vote for the songs that we're going to do reactions to. Both of those links can be found in the video description down below, everybody. All right, with that being said, catch you next time.